The first time I entered Ghost Dance, I realized I was witnessing one of the most powerful moments in all of gaming. The world turned black and white. The music stopped. The Mongols, they stopped seeing a samurai. They saw a ghost. Every swing felt heavier, as if each one was carving away what was left of Jin Sakai. The enemies didn't fight back. They stumbled, dropped their weapons, paralyzed not by pain, but by fear. And in that moment, even I was afraid too. Afraid of the person I was watching him become. The Ghost of Yarikawa isn't just another battle. For me, this was where Ghost of Tsushima stopped being just a game and became something I'll never forget. Every choice, every strike, every breath, it all leads here. The chaos, the desperation, the fear, they strip away everything Jin once was. And when the Ghost Dance finally awakens, it isn't just a new ability. It's the birth of something greater, and the death of everything before it. That's why this mission stays with me. It doesn't just tell you the story of Jin Sakai. It makes you feel his transformation. In this video, we'll explore how Jin's journey, from Komoda Beach to the Ghost of Yarikawa, became one of the most powerful transformations ever told in gaming. Jin Sakai was raised in his uncle's shadow, every breath shaped by the way of the samurai. He believed that code could save Tsushima. For a time, it was enough. Discipline gave purpose. Tradition gave order. The island felt unbreakable beneath their feet. Then Komoda Beach happened. The proud lines of the samurai met chaos they could not comprehend. The old ways met the barbaric world, and died on the shore. Komoda Beach was not a battle. It was an execution. Jin watched honor become a liability. He watched his uncle fall. In that moment, the samurai in him died, and with it, something new began to take his place. The ghost. When the sea went silent, the age of honor went with it. In the ruins of the samurai, survival took its throne. The first to save him wasn't a samurai, but someone who'd learned to live without rules. A thief, Yuna. She found him barely breathing, a broken weapon clinging to a broken code. As his wounds closed, something else opened. Doubt. The samurai code that once guided every motion now felt distant, like a fading prayer. The Mongols came again. Jin watched from the shadows, every instinct begging him to do what he'd been taught, to face them, to die with honor. But then he remembered Yuna's words, that staying alive was the only way to fight tomorrow. And for the first time, he listened. He struck in the dark, no honor, no witness. In the quiet, he heard his uncle's voice. Face your opponent. Show him respect. Let him see your courage. He stood over the body, hollow. The shame wasn't for the kill. It was for the reflection he could no longer face. His uncle's voice still called him samurai, but he knew that word no longer fit. And in that moment, the ghost began to breathe. Across the villages, stories began to breathe. The island whispered of a shadow moving through the dark, cutting down Mongols from behind, defying every rule of the samurai code. Rumor became legend, and legend took a name: the ghost. Do you think Jin was right to abandon the samurai code? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you've enjoyed the video so far, please like and subscribe. Your support goes a long way and helps me keep telling stories like this one. Yarikawa was never meant to welcome a samurai, not after what happened years ago. They once rebelled against the ruling clan, defying samurai rule, and paid for it with fire. Their homes were burned, their name disgraced. But even in ruin, their spirit endured. Now, years later, that same defiance is all that keeps them alive. When Jin rides through their gates, he isn't a savior. He's a reminder of every blade that once cut them down. Still, when the Mongols close in, there's no time for pride. Old grudges fade when survival becomes the only law left. So Jin stays, not as a lord, not as a samurai, but as someone trying to keep people alive. When the Mongols attack Yarikawa, dawn breaks like fire. The air fills with screams, arrows, and the sound of steel meeting flesh. Jin moves through it all with ruthless precision, silent, efficient, terrifying. The code his uncle taught him has no place here. Honor won't save anyone, but fear might. Every kill feels colder, every strike more certain. And soon, the people who once spat at him start to whisper his name with trembling awe. The ghost, they call him. Not samurai, not savior. Something else entirely. When Temuga's army finally arrives, Yarikawa's walls are in ruins. Temuga, one of Khotun Khan's most brutal generals, has come to finish what the others could not. But inside those ruins, a legend is waiting. Jin stands among the fallen, breath steady, eyes unblinking. The blood on his hands feels heavier than his armor, but he no longer flinches, because the samurai died at Yarikawa, and something else took his place. But even as the fires die, Yarikawa does not rest. And somewhere beyond the smoke, Temugi himself hears the name, and decides to crush it. Jin knows what must come next. If Yarikawa is to survive, he must face Temugi. He must kill one of Khotun Khan's best generals. Not for honor, not for vengeance, but to prove that the ghost is real. The Mongol general stood in the glow of burning walls. The fire painted his armor in gold and blood. He didn't call for battle. He simply raised his weapon toward Jin, a silent promise that one of them would not leave Yarikawa alive. Sparks burst between their blades, the sound more like thunder than metal. Temuji's strikes came down like hammers, brutal, proud, certain. But Jin no longer moved like a samurai. Every counter, every strike, carried the weight of everything he had lost. His home, his code, his peace. Their blades screamed in the firelight, until finally he fell to his knees, beaten, broken. The great general of the Mongol invasion, gasping for life at Jin's feet. Jin stared down at him. A single word appeared before the player's eyes. Not defeat, or not even kill, but slaughter. In that instant, the game itself revealed what Jin was about to become. You don't press a button to finish a duel. You choose to cross a line. Jin raised his blade. and with one swing, beheaded the general. The body fell, and then the player activates Ghost Stance. And here comes the genius of the Ghost of Yarikawa. The game doesn't just show his transformation, it makes you feel it. You feel the surge of power, the domination, the fear you create. For a fleeting moment, you understand what it means to be the ghost, unstoppable and terrifying. The Mongols froze where they stood. For the first time, they didn't see an enemy. They saw a nightmare wearing the face of a man. The player doesn't fight anymore, they slaughter. And when the last Mongol collapsed into the dirt, the battlefield was quiet again. Then, from the ruins, the people of Yarikawa emerged. Their faces were pale, eyes wide, unsure if what they'd seen was salvation or something far darker. They watched Jin standing alone amid the corpses and the smoke. He spoke, not as a samurai, but as something new. His words were few, but they carried through the night. A call for the people of Yarikawa to fight for themselves, to never kneel again. For the first time, they listened. Not because of his title, not because of his bloodline, but because of what he had become. And then, one man knelt. He bowed. Another followed. Then another, and another, until the whole of Yarikawa was on its knees. They were bowing to the myth, the legend, to the ghost who had risen to protect them when no one else could. Jin had become the ghost. What Ghost of Tsushima story should I dive into next? And what other games do you want to see on the channel? Drop your ideas in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. Your support means the world, and it helps me create more stories like this one. Thank you.